What?
Oops. I'll have to do it when we go actually go live. I
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Today with me, I have my co-host, Mina, as always.
Hello, my beautiful hauntlings. Let us know if you can hear us.
And with us today, our special guest, Nathaniel Nelson. How's it going, Nate?
Hey, how you doing?
Not too shabby. How are you?
I'm good. Just hanging out.
Buy egg fondle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, buy egg fondle.
Buy that egg that fondles those chickens.
Oh!
Yeah, something like that. Sure.
Thank you, Sleeping Wendigo.
So, Nate, for some of those people that are in the audience that might not be very familiar with you, why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Where to start? So I write a lot, mostly horror. I have 2 books up on Amazon currently, Arrowgrendel and Quantum Flight 888, and I'm currently working on another one, but mainly right now I'm focusing on my YouTube channel, really building that up. I'm reading a lot of short horror stories and real-life paranormal encounters, most of which I find from Reddit, but I also read my own stories and stories written by other people. About myself, I was born and raised in Maine, which is nice because it's the Stephen King state, so I got to grow up in and around all the areas Stephen King wrote about, which is always nice. Sometimes when I feel discouraged, I drive up to Bangor and just drive past Stephen King's house creepily and look in the windows, to get the inspiration up.
Creepy stalker.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what he gets for being the best.
Well, he's got to do what he's got to do, right?
I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Always keep a copy of Arrowgrendel in my car just in case I run into him one day,
Yeah.
Just gotta get Stephen King to shout me out on Twitter, and then everything will be fine.
And then Nate can be my sugar daddy.
Exactly. Gladly. If you'll also be my editor, then I think we'll have a good thing going.
Yeah, I'm working on getting his links up. I'm having trouble with the chat right now. It is in the description. All of his links are in the description. Let's see if I can get this in there. Even though it's being a pain on my... I don't even have an input screen right yet. Yes, Nate is a good author.
Everyone bully Nate in chat. Man.
Okay.
Raven's just getting the bully brigade out today.
I believe PA said he posted it on Twitter.
Yeah, I did too.
So, yeah. And now I'm getting multiple windows for YouTube. Oh, I'm hoping y'all are seeing the right screen and hearing us good.
It looks like it's on the right screen, so that was.
Anyone looking for links, my website is just natnelson.com. NATNELSON.
I'll have those links in just a minute as soon as...
I was listening back. Mia, your audio seems like it might be a little low.
Okay, I'll move the mic down.
I was just making sure they could hear us, and while I was listening, I'm like, me and Nate are loud. Mia's kind of quiet.
It's always quiet. I mean, seriously, Mia's always quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Nate, while we're on the topic of buying Arrowgrendel, what's the book about? Like, what's the plot line?
Sure, yeah, well, it's essentially the novel form of one of the classic monster movies from the 1940s through 70s. It's essentially a modern-day horror novel inspired by all of that, which you can see on the cover, which I got from my commission from Yeah Man TV, who I'm sure you all know. It's supposed to look kind of retro 50s. And the book is it's set in modern day, but it's really inspired by those kinds of movies. So, you know, Godzilla, Gorgo, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and all that kind of thing. So it's essentially a cross between monster horror and like government conspiracy horror.
Oh, nice.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. And I did rewrite it a couple times because the first couple times it sucked, but the real, definitely last one just came out a few days ago, and this is the one I'm going to be really promoting.
You heard it, folks. Go buy Egg Fondle.
Buy Egg Fondle, and if you're not convinced, there's a sample chapter on my website and another sample chapter on my YouTube.
Samples.
Yep.
And maybe if we sweet talk him, he might read us a sample towards the end of the show.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Ooh. Okay, let's say hello to the people in the chat. And while we're doing that, people, think of questions that you might have for Nate. We have Sleeping Wendigo.
What's going on, buddy?
Dark Horse Tales.
Hey, Dark Horse.
Edge.
Edge. What's going on, Edge? Thanks for coming, buddy.
We have Chris Baker. And that's
We just said she'd be right back. Hey, Chris.
Filia's Christine Baker. And once again, just to let you guys know, Filia is not here today. Keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers. And remember to send them the positive.
Send them all them positive vibes.
Positive vibes, positive healing energies. Apparently, Lynn needs them too.
Yeah, feel better, Lynn.
Let's see. Who else have we got in here? Did I say Lynn LeBlanc?
You didn't say her, but you just acknowledged her, so I guess technically, yeah.
Okay. We have the bird himself as the Raven Dreams.
My favorite quote.
I'm just waiting for him to type in the chat. Goddamn PA.
Hey, what does PA stand for, anyways? Always wondered that.
Oh my goodness.
Most people in the chat know. Yeah,
but
everybody in the chat pretty much knows. So if you ever listen, I've set it up to be a double entendre because I say allow me to be your personal.
Wait! Don't tell. Yeah, you say personal assistant. That's right. Oh, that just clicked. That's so clever.
But also, like I said, double entendre. I also live in Pennsylvania, where the abbreviations is PA.
Oh shit! There you go. There you go.
I thought it was some clever wordplay, so I had fun with it.
There you go.
Yes, he did have fun with it.
And if you have kids, then you're someone's pa, and it works 3 ways.
Papa.
Caca.
Raven says caca, but he can also say papa.
And why did Linktree do that?
Pennsylvanian apple.
What?
Oh god. Oh, Raven, it made me laugh, so it was gold. I liked it.
Okay, we're gonna try that. Put an extra space in there.
So, how long did it take you to write the first draft of Aragorn?
Oh, good lord. Well, the very first one I wrote when I was 17. The first horror book I ever wrote, and I actually hadn't read any horror books, so I didn't know what they were supposed to be like. It sucked. It was only 80,000 words long, and it really sucked. And since I was 17, I thought I was invincible. I published it, and I tried to market it, and it took me a long time to realize no one's buying it because it sucks. So I rewrote it again in 2018 and made it longer and a little more complex and shit, but that still wasn't the best, so during quarantine this year I rewrote the whole thing and added the whole 50s aesthetic. And yeah, I think this one's pretty good. First one, I am just so ashamed, and so some people in my family still have a copy of the first one, and one of these days I'm gonna,
You're gonna get a hold of
kill
it
him
and
and
burn
throw
it.
him out. Yeah, exactly.
Get him and kill him with fire.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna do what George Lucas wants to do, the Christmas special Star Trek Wars.
Yeah. Exactly.
The Christmas special of Star Trek Wars.
No, Star
Funny
Wars.
you should mention that. Funny you should mention that because there is going to be an Aragrenal Christmas special.
Nice.
Not this year, but next year, if there's enough interest, I'm going to re-release it with a Christmassy cover with a lot of extra stuff in it, like a couple short stories, related to the main book.
Ah,
Big
Nice.
crazy promotional scheme that popped into my head a while back, but I'm kind of pumped about it.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I I actually saw the original
The holiday special.
holiday
So
Christmas
funny.
special.
It is so funny. It's so awful.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but Raven just put fun fact. My phone wanted me to put Pennsylvanian asshole. Your phone was not incorrect.
This is interesting. Yes.
His phone knows me too well.
Hey Raven, check your DMs.
Ooh.
Oh.
She's
Not in a
getting
weird way.
special.
Not in a
DMs.
weird way.
Nate's sliding up in them DMs. Mhm.
Hey, yeah, you know it.
Hey, what's up, Lizzie?
Yeah, you've seen them before I am.
Which is a change because usually you see them before I do because my internet's such trash.
I know.
Oh, so
Oh.
speaking of my internet, I might be able to get there.
DMs?
His OnlyFans DMs.
It's not only fans, it's only beaks, okay? Get it right.
Well, actually,
Only burb.
the
Only
way
verb.
the latest from OnlyFans is that you can no longer do any porn.
That's what
Oh, no,
they
they-
say. Is that true though?
I was told they reversed that decision because they lost literally all of their business overnight.
I haven't seen a reversal from them, but I've seen the banning. So we'll see what happens.
That's funny.
Our avatar's going ho
Only burb.
ho.
Oh yeah.
He's aggressively calling someone a hoe.
Yeah, that's it. That's Mackenzie for you.
I
going around calling people
love
ho.
that story.
Do you? Well, funny you should mention that. Because there is a new one coming out.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know, last year, As the Raven Dreams did a video called The Legend of Mackenzie Weaver Part 1,
Mm-hmm.
featuring Lady Spookaria. And that was, of course, a sequel to my earlier story, My Thoughts on Mackenzie Weaver. And at long last, Part 2 is coming out this month. It's kind of Christmas themed, which is why we had to wait all this time, but it will be a reversal narrated by Lady Spookaria and featuring As the Raven Dreams, and I am so excited for it.
Oh,
Nice.
And
That's really
hope y'all
awesome.
listen to it. Hope y'all enjoy it.
ah, yay! Sorry.
So excited. So excited.
So excited. I'm bouncing in my chair. Y'all can't see it, but it's happening.
Oh, I
Raven-
believe it. Me too.
Raven says it only took forever.
Yeah, it did. It did. Well, it's funny. Last year, before the first part came out, I had a whole different Mackenzie story. At the time, I was working on a riverboat in Savannah, Georgia, and I wrote a Mackenzie story basically about the riverboat. And a lot of the characters were very heavily inspired by people I worked with who I didn't like, and let's say maybe some bad things happened to them in the story. But right before they started recording it, right before Raven and Spookaria started recording it, I found out everyone on the boat knew about my stories and followed my YouTube channel, and I realized they were all going to see it. So literally in the space of 10 hours, I rewrote the whole thing as a totally different story to send it to them. That story still exists, and I'm going to release it someday. Yeah, that freaked me out. I thought they were gonna fire me if that story came out, so I had to write a whole different one.
What's up, HR?
Hey. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad I'm not the only one that writes words like or things like that, but you know, I usually take it out or change the characters to a point where you couldn't figure out who I'm talking about.
Yeah, totally.
My first book, which is still unpublished, I don't know how many times I killed my ex-husband in it.
Nice. That's
I only
awesome.
think none of it made it to the final draft, but yeah.
Yeah, you gotta hit it. Oh, it's funny because the first book I published before Aragorn, and it's not available anymore because it also sucked. But the main character was kind of a douchebag, and he wasn't based on anyone, but he had the same name as a friend of my sister's, which didn't occur to me while I was writing it. And it was a very common name. But right after it came out, he contacted me and said he was really pissed off about it, and he might take legal action. I was like, dude, it's a very common name. Like, this is either a coincidence or like I didn't know you existed. But yeah, that book sucks, so you can't read it anymore, luckily. Yeah, that guy was pissed.
Hello, Baron von Creepy? What?
What's up, Baron? How you doing, dude?
They love the Baron. Yeah, I don't know. Writing for me, and it may be for you too. Writing for me is a stress reliever. And
Oh yeah.
I totally need it to get rid of stress.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's very relaxing. Until you just can't make the plot work, and then it gets frustrating.
Or the characters start fighting with you.
Exactly, and you realize you just gotta let them go their own way. Because they know better than you.
Sometimes when the character starts fighting with me, I threaten to kill them off right now, and then they just listen.
I had one character in a story that I was writing when I got sick, and I have not gotten back to. I could not get a name.
Really?
Took me like the whole first chapter almost for her, and I kept saying I need a name. And then when she gave me a name, I said no, I can't use that name. And she's like, that's it. No, I can't use that name. That's the name you're getting.
The name.
Yeah, and I ended up, using that name after all.
Wait, why couldn't you use the name, Mia?
Because I felt like I was well, I knew somebody named that, and that's when I made the decision that I wasn't going to do that anymore. And then I started doing it again with another character because I know somebody might think it's them.
Yeah,
that's
the
my worry.
worst part.
When it isn't them, it's not aimed at them, it's not anything with them, and I've killed
my ex-brother-in-law a few times, and I've used his exact name. I've even described how he looked like once, and if he ever comes up like, "Was this me?" I'm like, "Yep."
Well, it's like, I have always liked the name Eric, and PA and I know somebody named Eric that's in the horror community, and when I started this story, and one of the males was like, "My name's Eric," and I'm like, can we get another name here? And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not changing the name of a character just because I know people who have that name.
Yeah. Dude, once you know the name of a character, you can't change it.
So, yeah. Okay, let's... Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna have to take that out. YouTube, why do we have a 200 character limit on posts in chat?
Says YouTube's a bitch.
Say
True.
it. Just saying. I can't get all your links in there with this 200 characters.
Yeah. Just get the link tree. Let's get all of them.
Yeah. Hi, Lady Nopington. How are you today?
It's Noping Ham. There's a ham.
Nopingham. Nope. I want to say Nopington. I really do.
Hey, lovely lady. How are you?
So why horror? Just why horror? What brought you into horror?
Oh, hold on. Before you answer that, Reaper's in the house. What's going on, Reaper? It's been a hot minute since I've seen you around, dude.
Hey, Reaper.
How you feeling, dude?
Hope you're feeling better.
What's up, Reaper? I keep typing in the chat and forgetting I have a voice line in here.
Bro, do that too.
We all do.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
I can't get this to. It won't let me. I'm trying to pin your links, dude. I'm really trying hard here.
Okay.
I'm giving 42 shit because I messaged her and I asked her what she's doing. She's like editing, and she's like, that's what I'm always doing. I'm like, no, sometimes you're making thumbnails and you're editing audio, and I'm like, and every now and again you remember to eat and sleep.
So Nate, you've written some bizarre stories. Where does that inspiration come from, and how do you come up with your subject matter? This is from Raven.
Yeah, funny thing, I actually have my ideas beamed into my head while I'm sleeping. It's an alien organism that latched onto me. And while I'm sleeping, it just shoots the beam right into my head and fills my brain with all these crazy ideas.
So the opposite of a face hugger?
Exactly. No, really.
It's a face hugger. It's the face hugger LSD version.
Exactly. No, honestly, it's just kind of everyday stuff. Some people will tell you, like, don't force ideas, but a lot of my good ideas were forced. Like, Mackenzie came from when I was in college, and I always blew off my homework to binge watch old slasher movies, and I basically just wanted to make one of my own, so I kind of forced it to happen. And like halfway through the process, I was like, wait, there are no female slashers out there, so I thought I'd make the first one. Grendel, funny enough, the story actually came from the title. The title came first because my senior year English class, we read Beowulf, and of course the monster in... I love Beowulf so much. But yeah, the monster in Beowulf is named Grendel, right?
Uh-huh.
And the other thing we always talked about in that class was feminism and gender roles. And one day in art class, the idea kind of popped into my head that the word Grendel sounds like the word gender. And I realized to make it an anagram, to make Grendel into an anagram for gender role, you would just need an E, an R, and an O. And for some reason I knew that ERO, arrow, is a kind of spider. So I just kind of stuck them together, Arrow Grendel. So it's an anagram for gender role, which is kind of a big theme in the book. But yeah, then I kind of just worked backwards from there. So it was kind of the title first. Well, I thought of the twist ending first, but I'm not going to talk about that here because hopefully y'all are going to read it.
Yes.
Raven said, you get those alien beams too. I get those sometimes, and they also push advertisements and product placements into my dreams.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the alien beam in my head every night. It's like, this idea for the best-selling horror novel is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
So
Like
why?
to thank today's dream sponsor.
Yeah, but
Today's dream sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. You want an internet? You want a great gameplay? Yeah, every time those come on, I just laugh.
don't go to Shadow Legends.
Reaper says there are a few female slashers like Mrs. Voorhees, and he's absolutely right because she was the progenitor of the Friday the 13th franchise. However,
We
sadly,
didn't know that to begin with.
right. And also, she never got an iconic mask and weapon. She never got to be as widespread as Jason.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, of course, there are a couple of female slashers like in Happy Death Day, but yeah, I thought
April
there
Fools.
could be more. Yeah, exactly.
Happy
But-
Death Day was a very entertaining but yet good movie.
That was a
Shadow-
great movie. The second one sucked. I like the first one.
Oh my goodness. So go back to my question. Why horror?
Oh yeah, funny. Funny you should ask. That story makes me sound like such a phony, honestly. But
You're a phony.
yeah, basically I'm a fraud. But I was never really into horror as a kid. In fact, I was terrified of all that kind of stuff. I used to have nightmares all the time, and I was just terrified of ghosts, and especially dolls. Dolls scared the shit out of me as a kid. But yeah, I always wrote like from an early age, but I didn't think about actually really trying to publish something and get it out there. And so one day, senior year, I bent my dad's car around a tree. Had to shell out $2,000 to get it fixed. And I thought, I need to make some money, because I had a job, But I thought I should have some kind of passive income. So of course my first idea was writing books, because that's always what I wanted to do in life, but it never occurred to me I could start doing it at a young age. And essentially, again, this is going to make me sound like a phony, but I got into horror because I realized it was one of the most profitable genres. But at this point, it's not about that anymore. At this point, I've developed a serious love for the genre, for horror, and I watch horror movies religiously and read horror books. I don't know. Horror is so... I don't know the right word. It's like diverse. You can do so much with horror. There's so many different subgenres and so many different possible explanations. I mean, it's great. It's like fantasy. People don't really think about the cross between horror and fantasy, but I mean, fantasy doesn't need to mean like dragons and dwarves and shit. Fantasy is just like a world where supernatural things occur. That's what I love about, your average horror book is usually set in a very real modern day world, but there's all these crazy possibilities that people don't know about.
Yeah. And welcome Midnight Shift Ruminations.
What's up, bro?
I'm sorry. Pronunciations. You get a rotted Mrs. Voorhees mask from the Trick or Treat Studios.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
We'll keep that to ourselves
What you
for
got?
how we know that.
I love her.
So you said that the title came first for Aragrindo.
Yeah.
What about other stories?
Sorry?
Do you usually get the title first, or do you get the story first?
No, honestly, I usually think of like the ending, because most of the stuff I write is some kind of twist ending.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a gimmick or anything. It just usually happens that way. I usually think of the twist ending first, and then kind of work my way back from it. That's what happened with Aragrindo. Like, aside from the title, I thought of the ending first, and then kind of developed the characters to be
All right,
in a situation where the ending was possible.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Where in the hell did you come up with Boston Comes Alive? Because that story, man, I finished that story and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I just read.
Yeah, you did. You did such a great job with that story. Yeah. Funny story, not really. Just kind of depressing. So I was like 18. I had just left home for the first time. I was trying to get to California, but my car blew up in Pennsylvania. So
it's
Yeah.
funny because that's where I live.
yeah, exactly. You probably cursed me. I don't know.
Nah,
But,
I would never curse you, man. I love you too much. You know that.
Good. Appreciate that. Yeah, but I realized I wouldn't be able to get to California, but my aunt has an apartment in Boston, and she was out of the country for the summer and said I could use it whenever I wanted, so I just went to Boston and stayed there for a few months.
Boston.
I know, yeah, it was great. And I got a job there, and it was fun, and I had a coworker who was of age who would buy me alcohol, and one night I just got really drunk and walked around the North End, and there is a place in the story that's real where it's essentially like a big ring of giant animal heads made of bronze, and it's really creepy, especially when you're drunk and it's 2 a.m. I saw these things. I saw these giant animal heads, and I just thought, like, what if they started moving? And then just around the area, there's a bunch of other kind of statues and paintings and shit. And I thought, like, what if all this started moving? And it freaked me out. And I went back to the apartment. It was like 3 a.m. I was exhausted and kind of drunk, and I just cranked out that entire story in like an hour, and then passed the fuck out. Slept for like 15 hours.
Nice. Also, I gotta read this one statement, one comment from Night Shift Ruminations. He says, "Hello, currently awake Wendigo."
I like to read this one, and this is.
I read that. I laughed.
This is for Nate. My grandma used porcelain dolls when I was a kid. I never liked the way their eyes would follow me around. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, bro, Night Shift. My grandmother had porcelain dolls too, and whenever I would go over and visit, because she lived in Florida, she'd always have one, and it would be on this rocking chair, and it would always just be staring at me while I slept, and it just made me so uncomfortable that I would turn the rocking chair, and then one night I woke up and the rocking chair was back facing me, and the doll was looking straight at me. I asked my grandmother, my mom, and my dad, and my sisters, if anybody moved that chair. No one did. I'm like, oh great.
Yes.
I started sleeping with a knife under my pillow.
That's horrifying. It's funny,
and that habit of sleeping with a knife under my pillow hasn't went away. I always sleep with a knife under my pillow.
You're gonna cut your ear off.
Nah, there's a lock on it, but I'm so good with that knife that I can literally open that thing up half asleep, like half awake.
All right. And Reapers wants to know what it is with you and cars.
Vroom vroom.
You make them explode. You wrap them around trees. What's the dealio, dude?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I wrapped my dad's car around a tree, honestly, because I live in Maine, and there was about 10 feet of snow on the ground and about 6 inches of black ice on the road. So that was not a good time. I was actually driving very safely, but yeah, I just went right off the road. It was bad. And my other car exploded because it was like a 25-year-old car I bought for $800 on Craigslist. So I probably should have seen that coming, honestly.
What's his deal with cars? They literally get his engine. Oh, but fun fact about cars, Nate. Whenever I was a kid, my dad had a Buick, and it was a really old one. But there was a point in its life where you didn't even need a key to start it. You could just walk in, grab the turner, because at that point, the turners were like kind of like a U shape. You grab the turner and you could just turn it with your hand, and it would start.
Okay.
Not saying that me and my sister may or may not have taken that car for a joyride.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yes, Night Shift. Nate is from Maine.
Hell yeah.
The
Stephen King
state of Stephen King.
Hey, someone once told me I couldn't write horror set in Maine because that's Stephen King's thing. I was so pissed about that. Like, I was born and raised in Maine just like Stephen King. I can write about Maine as much as I goddamn want.
Exactly.
Anybody can. Anybody can.
And someone who had never been to Maine wanted to write horror novels set in Maine. I would think they were probably trying to copy, but
Yeah.
For me.
Sometimes I just try not to say exactly where the story is happening. Now I do have one that is taking place in Hollywood and Los Angeles.
Nice.
Working on. I do have one that well, I have several. I'll name the town or the place, but it's not a real town or place. It's
that's
made up in my head.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to set it in a certain place and then make up just make up the name of the town and that way it's not like a real place.
Well, and then I find out it is a real place, and I'm going, oh shit.
God dang it. I thought I was being smart here.
Creating fictional towns because you can make them look like however you want. You can have whatever you want there.
Yeah.
I love it.
I made up a
Yeah.
fictional last name, and it ended up with its name, and it's a noble family in France. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, you're gonna get assassinated.
I love that's where you go. Oh, so Nate, one of your fun town name in Pennsylvania. And I wish I was making this up. There's a town in Pennsylvania. It's literally called Yo-Cum Town, and it's spelled Y-O-C. It's literally spelled Y-O-C-U-M-T-O-W-N. Yo-Cum Town.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yes, I'm dead serious.
What about intercourse?
That's probably one of the streets in Yo-Cum Town.
No, that's a city in Pennsylvania.
God damn it! What is wrong with people and naming shit?
EA,
Well-
have you ever heard of a town called Eau Claire in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
That's where my car broke down.
Damn.
Oh my god, it was the most desolate, miserable place I've ever been in my life. I looked it up. The population is like 200.
Jesus Christ.
It's awful. Like that was where my car
Wow.
came. I know. It was miserable.
Upcoming story takes place in New Hampshire. Oh, cool, Night Shift.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Oh,
Anything New England, I'm down for.
I had a we had a van that you could literally take. Once you started it, you could take the key out and walk around and do whatever you want.
That sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's very dangerous because I'd take the key out, lock the door, go to the bathroom. Nobody's in the car. The car's sitting there running. I don't want the heat to turn off.
Yeah. I'm so
12
surprised when
passenger van, and it's completely empty, and I took the key out.
I'm so surprised when I see people going into the gas station leaving their car running. Like, anyone can just get in there and drive off.
Well,
Right.
These people in Maine are just a lot more trusting, but I saw people doing that in Savannah, too. Like that.
Oh no, people do it here in Pennsylvania, dude.
Dangerous
I'll
area.
get out of. Yeah, people
But-
do it in Pennsylvania as well. I get out of my car all the time, and people just like leaving their keys in the car. I'm like, bro, do you know how easy it would be for me to just go meh and just get in your car and just drive away?
Yeah.
well,
that's-
meh, I could lock the door and leave the car running, but the problem is if you leave the car running while you're getting gas, that's not a thing.
yeah, you shouldn't do that. Hey, guys, will you let me go for like 1 minute? I got something I gotta do.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
I've considered your request and I accept it.
Alright, thank you. I'll be right back.
So what's going on in the chat party, people? We're not Quaker. We're Amish. That is the first thing I saw when I opened up the chat from Reaper.
Wow. Why are we defining this? Why are we?
Oh, sorry,
talking about-
Raven. Oh, sorry. You're Amish and you're Sextown. I don't know. I came into the middle of a conversation, but it's fucking hilarious, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, there is Nate's. It's up on the screen now. His website.
Buy egg fondle. Fondle Nate's eggs. That sounded exactly as perverted as I wanted it to.
Oh my gosh.
Most people wouldn't have wanted it to sound that perverted. Me? That's exactly what I was going for.
That's a face palm, guys. It's a face palm.
Hey, you knew what you were getting into when you became my friend.
Not when I became your friend, but before we started this show, yes.
you knew what you were getting.
So
I'm considering buying a game with mine.
this is a general question, guys. Do you guys like the way Linktree is designed? Are you one that actually goes into a person's Linktree and check out their social media that way?
I don't mind it. I think it's very convenient where you can just click a link and you have every link at disposal. It's much more.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's much more handy than just having to go click on a page and go back and then find another link. Click on that link, find it. It's all in one spot. I like convenience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting one, but my social media keeps growing, and I'm like, I can't even keep up with what I've got. Why is it growing? Where is it coming from?
I gotta ask Nate a question that he probably gets asked all the time. Do you actually like clam chowder?
Oh, I fucking love clam chowder.
I love clam chowder.
There's a restaurant right down the road from my parents' house in Maine, and it has the best clam chowder.
New England style, of course.
Don't let anyone tell you Massachusetts or Nova Scotia has the best clam chowder, because Maine has the best clam chowder, hands down.
Homie, I didn't know there was a different kind of clam chowder until just recently. I'm like, I thought all clam chowder, and then I was told that there's just red clam chowder.
Oh,
I'm like, that's blasphemy. There's only white clam chowder.
It's like the Manhattan clam chowder.
Yeah,
or something.
Manhattan clam chowder. I had
I'm like,
the best clam chowder I've ever had was in Washington State. But then again, I've never been to Maine.
State is all the way across the country.
No.
Mm-hmm. It's all the way across the country for me too.
You're probably getting canned clam chowder, aren't you?
Well, that was at a restaurant.
Huh. Little suspicious.
The best clam chowder I had was when I was at Ocean City, Maryland. Because they actually have access to fresh seafood, and it was delicious.
Maryland, I will say, I lived in Maryland, and I give them my blessing as far as seafood goes. Kind of hate Maryland, especially Annapolis, but they do have good seafood. They
know they're going to the seafood department. That's for damn sure.
That's right. Exactly.
I had fish and chips, but it was made with catfish, and oh my god, that was the best fish and chips I've ever had.
That does sound good. Chips. I love catfish.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Wendigo. I know that's why I don't have Linktree yet.
I made Wendigo laugh with my really corny joke. We were in voice chat the other night, Nate, and I asked Wendigo, what's the Wendigo's favorite question?
What?
I asked Wendigo, what is a Wendigo's favorite question?
I don't know.
Wendigo, go.
Oh, golly.
Oh my god, shut up.
and it actually made him laugh, and I'm like, I'm glad. I'm glad my shitty joke made at least one person laugh, because, if you make one person laugh with a joke, it's not shitty.
I don't know about that. I might argue with that.
You brought joy to one person. That bringing joy to at least one person is what a joke's for.
Yeah, but was it a joy laugh or an anger laugh?
No, he actually laughed. He thought it was funny.
An angry upvote kind of moment.
He's like, Wendigo was like, I still remember it.
Yeah, I love New England clam chowder. I had Manhattan once, and ugh.
I will never try it because it just sounds gross.
No thanks.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't imagine the kind of seafood you pull out of the Hudson River. No thanks.
Well, and my thought about that is, maybe Manhattan clam chowder is liked by people who have never had New England clam chowder.
Yeah, that's probably it. They're probably like, wow, this is great. I bet there's no much better version of clam chowder out there.
Because we used to get both of them in the store, and I only had it the one time, so yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get the chowder.
It'd be like people never having like really good spaghetti and only eating just SpaghettiOs. I'm like, I bet there's nothing that tastes better than these SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, nope.
What's funny is you wouldn't think, but what goes great with clam chowder is a blueberry muffin.
Mm-hmm.
Not at the same time, but afterwards, as like a palate cleanser.
I can see that.
This place down the road from my parents is like a huge tourist trap. It's where all the rich people who come in here for the summer go. But so good. Best clam chowder, and they'll always give you a blueberry muffin with it. And it works so well.
I love blueberry muffins. They're like one of my favorite things on the planet.
Sharp cheddar cheese cubes melted inside of the clam chowder.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so spoiled. I'll cut my own if I have to.
You know, I'm a weird human being, and we all know but I do this thing with my chili where I put so many crackers in it and I mix it up to the point where it's not chili anymore. It's cracker. The crackers have absorbed all of the liquid, and then I eat them, and it's delicious.
I mean, crackers and soup, yeah, but if you break it up and get kind of like a gritty consistency, that doesn't sound good.
No, it's not gritty. It's more like mush. But
See, that doesn't sound good.
It's Ritz crackers, and the Ritz crackers just give it like that buttery, salty flavor, and it's delicious.
Dude, no, oyster crackers all the way.
Yeah, oyster crackers, especially in clam chowder.
I can't really find.
If you break them up, that just will create a nasty consistency.
Too small to break up.
Right.
I really can't find oyster crackers at my grocery store, so I go with Ritz crackers, and I just also another thing I like to do with chili is if after the next day, I'll just put some in a bowl, and I will just use the crackers like you would like a tortilla chip,
like
and
dip,
I would just I would just use the chili as dip.
Yeah, I love it.
One of the best things ever.
Raven, you're not serious, right?
With your chili.
Tell me you're not serious.
I could see
I love
eating
both
it
of those.
afterwards.
I love both of those things, but there are some things you just can't do together.
So, as a kid, and I'll still do it to this day, and it's something about the salt, just the saltiness of the ramen, and then like the sweetness of the jelly. But I'll always eat peanut butter and jelly with my ramen. But I took to like dipping it in the broth, and that saltiness with the freaking sweetness of the jelly just tastes delicious.
Okay. Look, I like conflicting flavors, sweet and salty, but ramen and jelly? My God.
No, not in chili. In ramen.
Right.
Yeah, but he's got cinnamon rolls in his chili.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
I always do, well, actually, it took me a while to actually get why my mom did this, but I've learned to like lettuce in my chili. But,
Wait, what? Lettuce in your chili?
lettuce, cheese, and cornbread.
Again, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Cornbread.
chili.
Let's have that down.
And
cornbread.
The lettuce is something that I can do with or without. But yeah, it took me a while to even try it.
Yeah.
Cornbread is delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck cornbread.
I need to make some cornbread.
I can't even say cornbread without hearing my freaking southern accent.
Cornbread. You need some
Cornbread.
cornbread.
Okay, the cornbread we had on the riverboat in Savannah, it was god tier cornbread. It was so good.
So, fun fact about cornbread. Apparently I'm just a prodigy at making it, because I used to work in a kitchen, and my boss asked me to make cornbread for the first time ever, and I made it. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and cooked it, and she tried it, and she's like, "This is the best fucking cornbread I've ever had." And I'm like, I don't know what I did differently.
You have a gift.
Because everybody was like, everybody makes cornbread. We followed the same recipe. The only thing I can think that I did differently was I used real eggs, where everybody else just used the carton liquid eggs.
Huh. Oh, yeah.
Well,
liquid eggs. Fuck that.
So maybe that was it. I also didn't follow the recipe and put extra salt in because I didn't think it was needed. And then I just put a pinch of sugar in. Not a lot of sugar, just a little pinch, just to give that a little contrast, contrasting flavors.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I've always made cornbread with a little sugar in it.
Yeah.
And
Cornbread could be a little sweet, honestly.
actually have tried using stevia instead of sugar for the diabetics in my house. And it works out pretty good. But I need to make cornbread. Salt on everything, yeah. Just about. Not cake. No salt on cake.
Well, yeah.
Elizabeth Lockhart, hello.
I learned that. Hello,
What's up, Elizabeth
how you doing?
Lockhart.
I learned people make cake with applesauce, and
Mhm.
that just blew my mind when somebody told me that.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is. It just blew my mind when someone told me it because I'd never heard it before.
It's really, really good. And I got it for my birthday. I got a crock pot. And my son, okay, is telling me how good cakes are when you make them in a crock pot.
Really?
And I'm going, cake? He goes, yeah, and pie too. And I'm like, pie?
In a crock pot?
In a crock pot? My head is not connecting this. This is not working. No. And he's like, yeah, I've done it. It's pretty good. And I'm going to have to try it because my head just says no.
Theoretically, it would work. It's possible.
You hear me? I'm going to have to try it. I'm not sure. I
don't know where you guys fall on the pot pie spectrum, but slippery pot pie to me is not pot pie.
What?
It has to have that amazing crust.
Yes, I need the crust. I need the crust.
Pot pie. You need the crust.
Like, somebody was like, I was making chicken pot pie, and I'm like, oh, awesome. And it's just potatoes and just the vegetables and everything, but there's like no crust. I'm like, where's the pot pie? They're like, that's it. I'm like, that's not pot pie.
That's a stew. That's a
stew.
It's not a pie.
I'm like, that's not what you promised me.
Yeah.
I will eat it because I'm hungry, and I will eat it because I'm hungry, and it's free. But this is not pot pie.
Right. I wouldn't have a big spoonful of blueberries and call it a blueberry pie.
Yeah.
It's like you get a big spoonful of blueberries, throw it on a piece of bread, and hand it to someone. It's pie.
No.
That's not pie.
No.
I'll still eat it because it probably doesn't taste bad, but it's not pie.
Okay, so a story about pot pie. I used to hate pot pie.
Really?
What did he ever do to you?
My grandmother was a gourmet cook, and she made pie one time, and for some reason I hated it. I did not like it. I ate the crust, and that's all I ate. I didn't touch anything that was inside of it because I could not stand it. Now that I'm an adult, I love pot pie.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so good.
I eat all of it and make it last as long as possible. So yeah, it's one of those things where our tastes change over years.
Oh yeah. One thing my taste never changed on: avocado. I absolutely hate avocado. I
love avocado.
I don't hate the taste of avocado. I hate the texture.
I hate both. It's just nasty. There's a lot of things. I used to hate hummus, and now I love it. But avocado, no, I just can't do.
Oh no, Reaper, no. I love you, Reaper, but no. Lemon meringue pie is not for throwing. It's definitely for eating.
Lemon meringue pie is the shit. It's so good.
So anything key lime. Key lime.
They're not as good as cherry pie because cherry pie is the best.
I mean, yeah, lemon meringue would not be my. Honestly, the meringue I can take or leave, but the lemon, absolutely.
Mom's favorite pie was the lemon meringue pie, and
I have not
made very much. So when she made lime pie, that just turned that one into my second favorite.
Dude, I love lime pie.
I've never found a pie that I did not go, yep, this is delicious.
Okay, Dean.
Exactly. Also, burgers are one of my favorite foods. Fight me, because a good burger is one of the best things in the world.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna argue with you, Night Chef, and everybody else. Apparently, avocado is one of my favorite fruits. I like to just cut it up and eat it with ranch dressing without even mashing it up or doing anything like that. So
I've had avocado puree on something before, and it wasn't that I could eat, but it's just that texture. I don't know. It throws me off.
Well, do you eat guacamole?
Yeah, that's why I can eat guacamole, because it's not that whole avocado. The texture is completely different.
Yeah. My
I will say,
husband can't eat guacamole because of the avocado, because he's allergic to it, and he's also allergic to bananas, which, believe it or not, is a relative of the avocado.
Wait, what's a relative of the avocado? You kind of cut out.
Bananas.
Oh, I can't eat bananas. I'm allergic, but I can eat avocado, which is kind of funny. Now you point that out. What were you going to say though, Nate? You were going to say something while Mia was talking.
What? No.
You were saying. Yeah, I can't eat hummus anymore. Well, I can't eat hummus for a while. I whenever I was on keto, I ate a lot of hummus, and now I'm literally just like the thought of it makes me cringe.
Hummus out?
Yeah, I'm hummused out. But as much as I'm enjoying the food talk, back to the interview. So Nate, you recently started narrating horror stories. What brought that on?
Yeah, mainly you guys, this community, because you guys are so cool. I first kind of got to know you guys back in quarantine last year. Because I was working at CVS, and with everyone in quarantine, we had no customers, so I would just kind of dick around on my phone the whole time. And yeah, and I found Lady Spookaria on Twitter, and she said she'd be down to narrate one of my stories, and that just kind of got me into this whole community. And I realized how cool you guys are, and I've kind of been getting to know everyone, and honestly, what you do, it's fun. And I was never really into the idea of narrating or voice acting, because I never really liked my voice, but the more I do it, the more I think, I could get used to this.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to your narrations, man.
Thank you.
And, you're a great guy, so, we're glad to have you, dude.
Oh, I got him here, and I don't think I've ever asked him this question before. As Nathan knows, and I'm pretty sure Mia knows, but there are two stories on my channel that are above, like close to my heart, because I fell in love with both these stories, and that's I Am Halloween and also Blood, both written by Nathan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. I didn't even know that. I heard I Am Halloween from I think Ronnie, the Dark Somnian. I was like, that's neat. And then I heard Blood from Raven, and I'm like, I fucking fell in love with that story. So the second I realized that was you, I'm like, oh, I have to read this on my channel. I even think that was a message I sent you. I'm like, dude, you wrote Blood. I have to read it. Can I read it?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Good, I'm so glad you liked it.
But what was the inspiration for Blood? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
This is
a good one.
This is also a funny story that's also going to make me sound like a phony. Okay. So I basically had some crazy writer's block during quarantine. I didn't know what to write. I have literally 103 novels planned out, but I didn't want to start on any of them. And I just didn't know what to write, so I thought I need something random to inspire me. I need a random kind of element to this equation. So you know what I did? I went on a random noun generator. And I said, I'm going to generate 2 random words, and whatever pops up, I'm going to write a story about it. And I clicked the button, and the 2 words were Blood University. And I thought, holy shit, Blood University, I can do that. And of course, that's a super lame way to be inspired for a story, but I expanded on that, and what I eventually landed on was essentially a kind of like an analogy, not to get too deep, but kind of like an analogy for how I felt about college at the time, because I had just dropped out of college for the 3rd time. So, the random noun generator prompted me to write about college, so I did, and the whole bit about the college sucking the blood out of their students was a pretty kind of obvious analogy for how I felt about school at the time.
Nice.
Strangely enough,
Yeah,
I
dude.
understand that.
Yeah, dude, man. It wasn't even the story like that sucked me in. Like, obviously the story sucked me in, but it was the setting, how you explained it. It just like the whole thing was just fucking phenomenal.
Thank you. Well, the college and the story was based on the second college I went to, which was in Maryland. Like I said earlier, I lived in Maryland. And it was this ancient campus that actually used to be a morgue in the Civil War.
Oh, I know which
And
one you're
it's
talking
so
about.
creepy. St. John's. It was St. John's in Annapolis. It was so creepy. And yeah, that was kind of the inspiration. Of course, in the story, it's in Scotland, which is a lot kind of more aesthetic than
Right.
Annapolis. So.
Hi, Gamma.
What's up, Gamma?
But yeah, yeah, I see that so much because a banana scythe just for PA. Okay. Yes. Nate wrote, "I am Halloween."
Wait, who's trying to kill me with bananas?
Reaper's Heart.
I had a guy actually in high school, this friend of mine, tried to give himself potassium poison by eating everyone's bananas at lunch. Like, everyone got a free banana with lunch, so he went around and got every single banana, and he tried to eat them all to give himself potassium poisoning. Just for
Let me
the
guess, it just
do it.
ended up with him getting sick.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
It didn't do anything.
Did it just end with him vomiting and that's
Yeah,
it?
essentially, but he's in jail now, so that's not what you'd expect.
Oh,
Not because of that. 'Cause
banana. Did later on in life he become like the banana bandit?
yeah, he would freeze bananas in the freezer and then stab people with them.
That's a great name. That's a great name for like a horror comedy. But the banana bandit.
Banana did it. The banana did.
Well, I have nailed a nail into a 2x4 with a banana, but I had it frozen in liquid nitrogen.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it shatter? Don't things shatter after they get nitrogen?
It depends on how frozen they are. There are different levels of freezing in the liquid nitrogen, and yeah, I'm gonna be quiet because I know way too much about that.
Oh, hey, interesting.
It's like at work when at one of my former jobs, we were allowed to borrow liquid nitrogen from site for demonstration purposes.
Wow,
And I had to keep from trying to come up with a way to get some and bring it home. That was fourth grade. I had a great time with liquid nitrogen in fourth grade, and it just kept coming into my life from that point. Let me just leave it at that.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think you can. I think you got to tell us more.
I think if I ate more than 2 bananas, I'd have the problem in a 24-hour period. I'd have the problem that I always have.
Fantastic.
I end up praying to the porcelain god.
Banana King?
Yeah, Banana King.
Charlie the Unicorn?
I'm not allergic to them or anything. I can eat one, but I just can't eat more than one. I get diarrhea.
Whack. Bananas by Taco Bell.
Banana sponsored by Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is
Taco Bellanas.
Love me a banana taco. Wow, that sounded a lot dirtier than I meant it to.
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, while you were gone, I made a pretty good one. In the regards of being perverted as well.
Yeah. You're good at it.
Yeah, I am.
Is he good at it? Is he actually bad at it, but just manages to do it all the time?
No, I'm good at it.
I had to give you a hard time about it. You know that.
Oh yeah, I
and
know.
there's a reason that I might buy Crisp.
Okay,
My
I
free
think-
minutes just died. I had to change my settings. What?
What's
is
that?
going on right now?
Yeah, now we're going from bananas to hot dogs. Okay.
Oh my god. Yeah. Alright, yeah. Alright, y'all. So as far as the interview goes, if you guys want to know any embarrassing secrets about me, we now have
Ooh.
my older sister in the chat. who
Oh!
just
Hello,
sent a
older
hot dog in
sister.
the chat.
Come,
If you guys want to know anything disturbing about me, go ahead and ask her.
completely
Not all the
just
stories.
divulge all the dirty secrets about him.
Please.
Let us bully him for life.
Everyone in the chat, ask Elizabeth Lockard whatever you want to know about me, because she'll be more honest than I am.
What is your phobia? Your biggest phobia?
Slugs.
What? Plugs?
Slugs.
Slugs.
Slugs. Slugs and snails.
Ah.
And
Yeah, the
puppy
shit.
dog tails.
They're disgusting. I hate them so much. Dude, I don't get grossed out by anything. You know, I grew up shoveling chicken shit as a kid. But I don't care about that. But slugs, absolutely not.
Oh, this is
You
beautiful.
just get some salt and put on. I mean.
Oh, that's even worse. Somehow that's even worse.
Yeah, Mia should shut her mouth.
Okay, I think this is the one.
You think this is the one? What is the one?
I may or may not have been game shopping while talking to you guys, and I just found Shin Megami Tensei 5 Standard Edition for the Nintendo Switch is on sale from 60 to 40, and I got a free $20 for my work for my birthday. I'm thinking I'm grabbing that game while it's on sale.
Okay. So
I don't know if there's any gamers in the house, but Shin Megami Tensei is one of the best RPG creators ever.
Oh.
no, as Car goes, tell everyone how brilliant you were as a kid.
Oh,
Elizabeth, how many times did he get punished?
Oh, Lord. Too much. Too much.
what was the dumbest thing that you did as a kid?
Ooh, dumbest thing I did as a kid. Ooh. Ah, that's a hard one. Thanks. Okay.
Nathaniel was moderately talented as a child. Ah. Did you walk around with a notebook in your hand and a pen?
Actually, yeah, I did. I had one of those little leather-bound books.
I didn't have a leather-bound book. I had an eight subject spiral notebook.
Nice. Yeah, not portable though. Yeah, I wrote my first quote-unquote book when I was 8. It was a cryptid book. I wrote it in a spiral-bound notebook. And when I was finished, I sat down to read the whole thing, and I thought, well, this is a full novel, so it should take several days to read, you know, but then it took me 20 minutes to read, and I was shocked that it was not the length of a full-length novel, you know, being 8 and all.
Yeah.
Later, I typed it up and found out it was only 2,000 words long, so very disappointing.
So Nate, when did you start to write?
Good Lord, let's see. Well, my father is a very successful author, so it was always kind of their family. When I was 5 in kindergarten, I was assigned to write a book, and I did, and it was like a little short picture book. But then when I was 8, my mother took me to see this famous author talk, and he kind of inspired me to start writing. That's when I wrote the cryptid book, and I wrote 3 of those. And then I kind of stopped writing for a long time until high school, when I really got back into it. And of course, I wrote that book, and then I wrote Aragondel, and the rest is history.
Okay, so, You like to deep throat recorders, eh?
My sister is always talking about it. Yeah. So, okay. For those of you who don't know this, my tragic backstory is that I was homeschooled up until high school. And we had to learn recorder. And apparently I deep-throated the recorder. I have no memory of this, but my sister is always bringing that up.
I can answer that one. Night Shift. No, his father is not Stephen King. That's Jason Hill. And
No.
Damn.
His father is Stephen.
The chat.
No,
his our dad in the chat.
Oh, hey, Lady Spookari is in the
Hey, Lady
house. What's up,
Spookari.
lovely lady?
but
His dad is Stephen King, but his dad went out to get a pack of cigarettes and never came back. That's why he stalks them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's ironic because he abandoned us, but he only moved 20 miles away. So.
What a topic to walk in on. Yeah, exactly.
So, lady, Elizabeth Lockhart is Nate's sister, and we're asking her to spill all the embarrassing secrets about Nate's life. So far we got deep throat and recorders.
Yeah, I will admit it. I deep throated a recorder, and we're not going to look any deeper into that because I don't want to know.
Oh no, we're gonna look so far deeper into that.
Oh please.
There's just so much deeping in here.
Nate,
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Fearsome.
Hey, what's up, Fearsome? Hey, Nate, you seem like the kind of kid that would just that went through that phase where you decided you didn't like clothes and ran around the house naked.
No, that was my little sister.
We honestly, that's pretty par for the course in the homeschool community with little kids just not wearing clothes at all. I was the opposite though. I wouldn't even take my shirt off at the beach. I was so self-conscious, but that's what happens when you grow up without any friends.
Yeah, there's a story about my sister that one day I might share, but she was a toddler at the time, so we can't really, fault her for much because she really didn't know any better.
Yeah. That's right. My sister thought it would be hilarious as for like whenever I was like 5 years old to throw me in a 3-foot pool and tell me to swim or die.
That's dark.
I know where that has.
I disappointed her because I swam.
Jesus.
I know where that has worked sometimes, and I know where it hasn't worked other times. I'm torn on whether that is actually child abuse or like a bird kicking the baby out of the nest trying to make them fly. I don't know.
I think the real parallel to a bird kicking their baby out of the nest is if a parent took their kid in the car and dropped them off several miles away and said, "Figure it out.
Find your way back home."
Don't drop them off anywhere in West Virginia.
It happened to me several times, but that's how it is.
Like I said, don't drop them off anywhere in West Virginia.
Yeah, no.
It's not safe.
You got a burn mouth.
I was in my 30s when I finally saw that movie.
If you're in West Virginia and you hear a banjo, you better run. It might not do you any good, but one of the rules of horror, when in doubt, just run. It might not save your life, but, at least you tried.
If you run in a horror movie, you're going to trip over nothing and die.
You're going to die tired.
Exactly. You don't want to go to heaven tired, then you're going to be tired for the rest of eternity.
Nightmare, it's okay. My godmother is from West Virginia, so,
West Virginia.
Mountain Mama. Speaking of...
I heard somewhere that song is not about the state, West Virginia. It's about Western Virginia.
If they keep singing copyright songs, Raven, we're not going to have a channel on it.
Shit, you're right.
Speaking of copyright songs, I've been looking for a song to do for Christmas, and I found one, but I can't find if it's public domain or not.
Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues.
So
No.
I want to do. I want to do a story about a snowman that murders like a murderous snowman, because Mew put out Frosty the Snowman Dark Piano version, and I totally just want to use it in a story.
So, you know, Sabian has that Fleshy story. You know, Fleshy the Snowman.
Oh, he does. I might see if he'll let me use it.
Well, if you do that, you have to work with Shiloh for the voices.
I have other people who can do children's voices.
I'm teasing
As far
you.
as
But I might enlist my nieces one of these days and come bring them over to my house and just have them read me some lines.
Yeah. Actually, he's got a new version, a new part of Fleshy coming out.
Okay. Later on, Lady Spookaria. Love you. Thank you for coming.
Be safe, Lady Spookaria. Love you.
Video, can't wait.
Yeah, I need to get a story from Nate, but yeah.
Do it.
But I'm looking.
Want to know how many?
I'm looking for. I'm looking to find out if Scarlet Ribbons is public domain. I did all the
There's like a public domain wiki, I think, that tells you everything.
Yeah, but I can't find it. And I found Night Shift. I did on Langsyne last year and got copyrighted.
Did you? Really? For Old Lang Syne?
Yeah, and I sent a note back to YouTube saying, okay, so they're saying that they've been alive for 300 years.
Yeah, dude, that song is like 1,000 years old.
Because the guy who wrote it died in 17 something. I actually gave him the year and all that other stuff, and it went away.
Like, T-Chip just copyright strike me for my own fucking artwork. They were like, this is a copyright violation. Like,
no, it's not. It's my artwork. Get over it, dude.
Exactly. Speaking of Christmas horror, if any of y'all have not seen the movie A Christmas Horror Story,
my gosh, that's so good. I watched it again last night.
It's so good. It's so good. Honestly, it's so competent. It's so well made. You know? Like, I don't want to be cynical, but I don't expect a lot from modern day horror movies, but that one is so good, especially because there's like no budget. Yeah. And they got William Shatner too.
Yeah, that was.
I love it.
All their budget went to pay him.
I did a review on that movie. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but yeah, I love it so much.
So another one that I watched last night was Red Christmas, and I wasn't expecting it to take the dark turn it did. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of it, I was ready to shut it off after like 5 minutes because I was like, I am not going to get into this subject in a horror movie. I can't. No. No, I wasn't reacting to all Langsyne. I was singing on Langsyne a cappella.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the last song you would think would be, under copyright.
I had 2 people copyright strike me, which was interesting.
That's like saying Amazing Grace copyright.
Yeah. And those 2 people had to pull it back because, like I said, I had the date when the guy died and everything else. So.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, I would get really pissed off too. I can't art, so yeah.
Hey, I gotta dip out again for half a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, if anybody can find out where if Scarlet Ribbons is public domain and can give me proof of it, I'd really appreciate it because I'm running up against a wall apparently. I get all the information on the song, but I don't get that. I come back to the PC and see that. Now, I was like, how did I get a copyright strike? Remember that?
Well, that's like
PA?
that's like when I got a copyright strike for using one of Muse songs by that random guy. I was like, that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm. Well, even like when I'm playing Pretzel, like our music in here is from Pretzel. They tell you to use the YouTube Safe tab, which I have turned on, to make sure that it is safe for YouTube to be played on YouTube and not be copyrighted.
Yeah.
So yeah. You're going to get going. Oh, you had to spell it that way. Just to mess with my head. Thank you, Reaper.
Later, Reap. Hope you feel better, buddy.
Love you, man.
Love you.
And I saw
love you,
Beautiful
dude.
Nightmare slip in here.
She's a sneaky one.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
West Virginia split from Virginia over slavery. It was over the Civil War, actually.
Right.
Just, yeah. They did not want to secede from the Union, and they didn't want to have slaves, so they left.
Yeah, and Robert E. Lee, I believe, was from Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
but he decided to side with the South.
It was a very, I mean, during the time, it was a very, polarizing subject. I mean, now it is
that is
too,
the
but
definition of a Civil War, right?
I mean, now it is too, but not as much as it was. Be safe, Christine.
Love you, Chris. Be safe.
So, Nate, I noticed something else when I was going through your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you write your own wiki?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Reaper says banana. Bye.
I gotta get in on the ground level, you know. But someday I'll have fans, you know.
Yeah, I thought about
Just
a wiki, but
put 'em on.
I actually was writing a wiki on a character because I was involved in a group that they were doing wikis for characters, so I have a wiki account.
Well, that's the thing. Not on fandom.com, but if you go on ShoutWiki, you can make private wikis, and they're so good for note taking. I have a private wiki that I just use for note taking, and it's so much better than just taking notes, you know, in like a document because it's objective, and it's a great way to always remember all the facts about your characters and your universe.
That's
It's so
why.
much easier. Definitely go. If you need to keep notes, go on ShoutWiki and make a private wiki. It's so much better.
That's
But
why
yeah.
I like Scrivenger.
Yeah, I do have a public wiki. Yes, I did write it all myself. No, I'm not embarrassed.
I thought it
Someday-
was cool.
Someday. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like I mean, all the stories I have are essentially set in the same universe, so I figured, you know, they're all connected. They gotta, there's gotta be some, you know, a method of keeping it all straight in your head, you know.
Right. Well, I use Scrivenger, and I love it, and I can take notes and keep them in different places. They've even got a character where you can build all your characters. It has a character template in there. And,
Really? That's
I've actually augmented that to one that works for me better. Because I want certain information that generally people don't want to know about their characters.
right. Yeah.
It's you know, they said that there were thousands of pages of notes that never made it into the Harry Potter series. I probably can beat that as far as notes on my characters and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't. what you show in the book doesn't make a well-rounded character. What makes a well-rounded character is what you, the author, know about the characters.
Yeah. I moved from Google Docs to Scavenger.
Yeah. That's the thing, I've taken notes in like a document in, Word or Google Docs, but it's so messy. I always forget things, and it's so just janky the way you do it. Honestly, the wiki format, I've never seen anyone else do this, but the wiki format of notes is so great. Write it from a totally objective standpoint, and it just makes it so much easier to remember everything you have about your characters.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes when I'm writing and I'm like, did I say that? Did I already put that in there? And then I've got to actually go back and read.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Pretty much all my notes are written when I was really drunk, so sometimes I get back there and I'm like, I don't remember writing that, but it's good.
I don't remember that, but it's good, so I'm going to leave it in there.
Good, I'm going to keep it. It's like, yeah. Sober me has such an inferiority complex over the talents of drunk me.
I believe that.
Yeah.
It's like, drunk me, I'm the greatest in the world! Sober me, you suck.
You suck. Now, I will say, for
my favorite Ernest Hemingway quote is, write drunk, edit sober. I feel that.
I can believe that from him, too.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Now, I will say that Google Docs is probably the best way to write a collaboration.
Yeah, well, definitely if you're collaborating. Might as well.
I mean, I have done some collaborative stories that way, and it was a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, I've got to get a hold of one of the guys and see if I can kind of rewrite it my own way but I want to use the universe we were in, so I need to have his permission because we kind of shared the universe creation.
Yeah. Oh, it's good for collabing, but I don't get people who write on Google Docs because a lot of the times I find myself without Wi-Fi, and I want to have the file actually on my computer.
Yeah, and that's another the nice thing about Scavenger is once you buy it, the license is yours on any computer that is yours.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
And
I should do that, honestly.
You can, I've got a Dropbox that I save all my books to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a physical drive that I can get to as well.
Good, yeah.
And
yeah, you gotta make it physical. You gotta have a copy in your hand.
Yeah. So if I'm here,
the internet can fuck up,
Yeah. If I'm here at the computer, I have a physical link to that document. If I'm over at the laptop on the bed, I'm not so much of a physical because it's going over the Wi-Fi, but still, it's within the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I have started backing up. I guess that's the right way to say it. Backing up to OneDrive, just to have another location that's not local.
Yeah, definitely.
Pikes Peak Writer Conference. Do write while they're drunk and edit socials. Oh wow,
right.
That's cool. Speaking of which, I found something interesting on Twitter. I'm waiting for everybody to laugh.
Raven just said all my books are on encrypted flash drives. Don't ask.
I'm listening, Mia. Speak.
I found a group of people, and I haven't done a lot of digging yet, so give me time for that. But they are called the Horror Writers Association, and they seem to be worldwide.
Huh.
They are on Twitter, and they have their own website. I can give you that stuff after we get off here.
That sounds awesome.
But I'm still checking them out, and I actually found them on Twitter. I was looking at, I'm in a couple of authors groups because I do novel writing, Novel Writers Month in November, which I didn't do this year, but I have done it. And I get a lot of stuff from them on writing and so forth, and Twitter as well. And I saw this HWA. What the hell is HWA? Because a lot of the horror authors that I knew had that. And so I started looking it up, and I found a link to the Colorado HWA. And I'm going, okay, so is this just in Colorado, or is this in other places? And so that's what led to me finding the website and so forth. I love the on their website they have a comic on the top, and right now the comic on the top is Dracula coming in to talk to Bram Stoker, and he says, "Stoker, about your new novel, I have a few notes."
I love it.
And I was just like, okay, that's perfect. And characters do that to some of us. I mean, I know I'm not the only one that has the characters talk to them.
Yeah, definitely.
You're editing and all of a sudden you hear, "That's not how that happened, you wrote it wrong."
No, my characters don't usually do that. My characters just go, "Hey, this is a funny one-liner. Put that in." I'm like, I like it.
Ooh, it's still on Amazon, but it's not buyable. Well, damn it. Elizabeth, I need a copy of that book.
She has one.
I know she does. She said earlier. Why did I give you my address? I have your address, Raven. What? Patrick Donovan's extraordinary cocktail of mental disorders so obviously is my sister's friend, Patrick Donovan, got pissed. Well, yeah, Nate, I can see that.
I mean, it was just a coincidence. I didn't know this guy existed. I didn't know I had a mutual acquaintance with the same name as my character.
Yeah, and isn't that funny how that happens sometimes?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, maybe I don't know, subconsciously knew my sister had a friend by that name, but not, consciously.
Yeah.
Also, that's such a common name, especially for Irish people,
Patrick Donovan.
Yeah. That's the worst fucking part about Amazon. They won't let me delete it. Once you upload a book, you can't delete it. You can make it, not available to buy, but they won't let you actually get rid of it.
Ah.
Why? I've emailed them so many times, like, listen, please get rid of this book. I don't want it associated with me. And they just won't do it.
Sorry.
That's fucking Jeff Bezos is trying to eat my ass over here,
All right. So, we have some general, and she's not here again this week. I guess they're sleeping. If you're in the house alone and you're home alone by yourself and you hear somebody fart, do you laugh or are you scared?
Well, there's a cat in this house, so I would probably assume it was her.
I think the premise of it is the cat's not there at the time, but okay.
Alright, no, if the cat's not here, then I would say, I don't know. These are the questions.
These are the questions.
These are the questions that have plagued mankind since, the dawning of history.
The things that make you go, hmm.
Exactly.
See, that's one of the things I'm kind of happy that I haven't actually published anything yet, except in Spanish-speaking language.
Sure. That's the thing. That's the thing. I always tell people who want to write books and publish them, I'm like, dude, make 100% sure you really want this book out there. And like my dad said that to me when I first published Patrick Donovan. And I didn't listen to him. I was like, yeah, this book is always going to be good. I'm never going to be embarrassed by it, you know? And then literally like 4 months later, I was like, oh my god, I hate this so much. Same with Aragrandal. Luckily, Aragrandal, like, Amazon does let you re-upload the interior and the covers. I rewrote it and made it better, but Patrick Donovan, I don't want to rewrite it. I just want it to go away, but it's still here.
You're not the only one, Wendigo. So, PA, do you have a question?
Yeah, so, Nate, we're living in a brand new hellscape where alligators and crocodiles can fly. How does humanity fare?
How does humanity fare? Well, you know, not to get too political, but I feel like most people would just decide the alligators aren't real and just, like, go on with their daily lives.
And if they get eaten on their way to work, who cares?
Exactly.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
Flying alligator. That's the good shit, dude. That'd be a good story right there.
I actually think that if you got flying alligators, the next thing you're gonna have is dragons.
Oh yeah, I keep saying that too. Next thing you know, they increase in size and develop the ability to breathe fire, and now we have dragons.
Dude, I had alligators. I lived in fucking Savannah, dude. There were alligators all over the place. My college dorm in Savannah had big signs saying, like, you know, don't go past this fence because there are alligators.
My former employment, when we were on the stands, it was actually told to us, there are signs up too, say don't feed the alligators.
I bet. I love it.
Don't give the alligators their lunch. You know, because people would go out and sit right off the canal, and don't feed the alligators their lunch.
Where do you live?
It's South Louisiana.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I worked in South Mississippi.
Nice.
Just inside the line, and if anybody knows where that is, I'll be surprised.
You ever go to New Orleans?
Yes, I'm 35 miles from the French Quarter.
I would love to go to New Orleans because Savannah is like little baby New Orleans.
Not until you get here.
Well, Savannah is what I always expected New Orleans to be like, but less interesting. I do want to go to. One of my roommates was from New Orleans, and he said it looked a lot of fun.
I've been to Savannah. I've been to New Orleans. I'd take New Orleans over Savannah any day.
Oh, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. I'd love to go there. I love Savannah.
There was a reason why Savannah was burned.
And it was burned, and that's why all the buildings are made of stone now.
Yes.
Did I tell you guys about my Savannah ghost story?
Ooh, story time.
Not really a ghost story. I personally did not have an experience, but
damn it.
In Savannah, I worked in CVS, and turns out the CVS used to be the old courthouse in Savannah in the 1750s, and right outside CVS is a city square, and apparently that used to be where the gallows were, where they hanged people. And the judge in the courthouse, that is now CVS, was an absolute psychopath. Apparently, every single criminal who would go in front of the judge, he would sentence them to be hanged immediately. And the first woman in America to be convicted of murder was hanged right outside CVS. And all the managers at CVS would tell me they still see her walking around in the basement. And the basement was where the bathrooms and the stock rooms were, so I had to be there all day. And I heard the managers talking about seeing this ghost of this 300-year-old woman who was hanged right outside. And that shit terrified me, let me tell you.
Yeah, I bet.
Insane. She basically just, her owner, was whipping her, and she just snapped one day and murdered him, for good reason. But then she was brought to the courthouse, and the judge, who was a total psycho, said, hang her. So they hanged her, and even today, the people working there at CVS say they still see her there. And it's crazy because Savannah has 36 city squares, and all of them have Spanish moss growing except that one. And there's not, a connection between ghosts and Spanish moss, but it is a little suspicious that that is the only one that doesn't have them.
Yeah. I love Spanish moss. I love the way it looks. It's beautiful.
So good.
Especially down here when you've got rows of trees that have it on it. And there's a place behind us closer to the bayou that the house is no longer on the land. It's just trees, and you can see where the path into the house was, and about where the house was, you can see where it was as far as the way that's overgrown, right? And it had to be gorgeous because the trees, the way the trees look and everything, I love driving by there. I wish I could drive onto the land because you can't actually do that. You'd probably sink.
Yeah.
But it's still beautiful. It's gorgeous, and that's what makes me sad about when they say that they're going to use the wetlands for something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
pathetic.
Yeah, and not only that, wetlands help mediate the damage done by hurricanes. If you get rid of all the wetlands, you got a problem.
Of course. I love the wetlands, dude. Tybee Island and Savannah is so beautiful. I'd love to go to New Orleans. I might, honestly. Starting next month, I'm going to be just kind of traveling a lot, going around the country. Cool. And hey, if anyone wants to hang out, hit me up. Because I'll be everywhere.
I might come to PA. I
will.
I'll show you. I'll show you around Gettysburg.
I might be in New Orleans.
Gettysburg. I fucking grew up in Gettysburg, dude.
Not really? I fucking lived near Gettysburg my entire life.
I didn't live there, but my parents are really into like Rev War reenactments and shit. So yeah, I was all around that place.
Yeah,
Dude, hit me up. I would love to hang out in Pennsylvania, as long as it's not in that shitty little town my car blew up in.
Nah, man. No, I live in a small town, but my small town's population is like 2,000. So, even that's bigger than that.
Yeah, I might be in New Orleans, but if I'm in New Orleans, I'm probably going to be at the U.S. District Court, serving on a jury because they're trying to get me down there.
Oh my god, dude! I just got 2 letters from Savannah and Maryland asking me to serve jury duty. It's like, dude, I haven't been there in years.
Did you not check my expired driver's license, dude?
Exactly. Well, that's the other thing. I still have my fucking Georgia license. Every time I buy alcohol, they have to bring the manager down to look at my license and make sure it's real. It's like, dude, come on.
I don't know if they do now, but at one point, Arizona did not have an expiration date for their ID cards.
So yeah, that makes sense.
My housemate has an Arizona ID card, and so he put off getting one here because he still had one. It didn't have an expiration date, so it's still valid.
Huh.
But
yeah, that irritates me. Like, I have to, like next year, I have to get my driver's license renewed. I'm just like, why the hell do these things expire?
I have to get all new paperwork for my handicap parking thing and for my ID next year.
Dude, in Savannah, my license expired, and I would be in trouble if I got caught driving with an expired license, but they wouldn't serve me at a bar because my license was expired. It's like, the expiration of my license does not change the day on which I was born. I'm still over 21, whether or not
However, in some states, it is actually illegal for them to serve if they are given a expired license or ID.
My first day in Savannah, oh my god, I went to a bar, showed them my Maine license from Maine, which is a valid license, they refused to serve me because they said it was fake.
Mhm.
They said this is not a real driver's license. I was like, look, listen, if I made a fake driver's license, I wouldn't make it from Maine, and I wouldn't have a picture of me at 16 on it. I mean, what the fuck?
What the hell? That's ridiculous.
I know. You'd think going to a dive bar in the ghetto, they wouldn't care so much, but there it is. Fucking Savannah.
Yeah, I made this license just to come to your shitty bar.
Exactly. Like, who cares? You fucking took it too. She said, you have to go find a police officer and bring him back here so he can tell me that this isn't a fake ID. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. Okay, I'll get right on that. 911. Hi, I need a police officer. Why? I need him to come to this bar so he can verify that my driver's license from Maine is not, in fact, not a fake. They'd hang up on your ass.
Right. I was in the tourist district. There were no cops around. Eventually, I went back and I gave her all those logical arguments, and she gave it back to me, but she still refused to serve me. I was like, fuck it, I don't want to drink here anyway.
Right, Raven. Right. It's not a legally valid form of ID if it is expired.
See,
And
I can get behind some forms of bureaucracy, but that just doesn't make sense. It's not about having an ID, it's about legally being the age to drink, and, you know, you're still the right age, even if your ID is expired.
Well, there's a law here that says if you're over the age of 16, you must have a valid state ID. I didn't know this until my sister. Everyone. I didn't know this until my daughter was out with her boyfriend and a friend of hers, and they got pulled over, and he was asking for everybody's ID cards, and she didn't have one because I didn't know she had to have one. And
that's kind of ridiculous.
She almost got arrested for that.
What? I mean, like, everyone should have an ID, but I don't think everyone should have to have an ID. She
didn't have a driver's license yet, so I didn't think it was, you know, she'll have an ID when she gets her driver's license. I'm not in a hurry to take her over to get an ID card just to have it replaced in 6 months by a driver's license.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they have to take driver's ed here before they can get their license.
Right, of course.
And that's for everybody. And you can't start taking driver's ed until after you're 16, which I think is kind of stupid. I took it at 15, but...
Right, yeah. Wait, you have to be 16 there?
Yeah. You have to be 16 here before you can actually take the course.
Most states, you take it at 15.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And the school will charge you $100. Will charge your parents $100 for you to take the course in the school.
What the fuck?
So I paid for it for both of my kids.
That is annoying. I mean, my sister just turned 15, and she is not going to be able to get her license because our parents just can't afford that.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. You have to pay for driver's ed. I mean, that
didn't have to pay for it when I was in school.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know, and then my son actually, I paid $100 for him to take driver's ed, and he didn't go to any of the classes.
Huh.
So when he said,
so lame.
Yeah, I know.
When I was in driver's ed, it was like, you know, you had to be there for 2 hours every day. They finished the course in literally 30 minutes. It was an hour and a half of just sitting there. And we were like, why are we here? And the instructor was like, well, you legally have to be here for 2 hours. I would just sit there and read a book, you know? It was just like, I'm not learning anything. We would just sit there and dick around the whole time.
Oh, they would teach a lesson for 30 minutes, and then they would show us, you know, highways red with blood or something along that line for the next hour and a half. To scare us into not screwing up on the road.
They showed me those kind of videos, and I'm just like, oh, that's neat. People are dead.
Hey, I got to watch horror in school, right?
I will say they did scare me straight about drinking and driving. They did get me with that one, because they showed this one documentary about this kid who drove drunk and got in a wreck, and he got brain damage. to the point where he was totally fine, but he forgot everything, like every single memory, as in he didn't know how to talk.
Oh wow.
So
geez,
he was
that
like
would suck.
16. He was like 16, but he suddenly had the mind of like a literal newborn because he didn't
Wow.
remember anything he had ever learned. So he had to relearn how to talk and how to function as a person. It was probably fake, honestly, but that shit scared me straight, and I will never drink and drive.
Yeah.
I got sent to
good.
the principal's office because we were watching a video and someone literally got decapitated. And I'm like, nah, that guy shouldn't have lost his head.
Oh,
Damn it!
And apparently the joke was not appreciated by the teacher.
I'm sure it was.
I'm sure it wasn't.
And I'm like, and I looked at him. I'm like, I'm already getting in trouble, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, hey, I got one more question for you. He's like, what's that? I'm like, got head. And I just walked out of the classroom.
Jesus Christ.
And see,
My principal was like, what are you here for this time? And I'm like, I made a joke. And he's like, what's the joke? And I reiterated both my jokes. And he looked at me and goes, first of all, that's funny. Second of all, don't do that again. And then I just got a warning and sent back to class, and the teacher just glared at me. And I'm like, what? Funny's funny.
You're right.
see, and the thing is, I spent $100 for him to take it in school. He didn't take it. He spent $400 taking it at a driving school to get his driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent 3 weekends taking it. And that included the driving part. And then he got his certificate, and the next weekend or the next week he went and got his driver's license. But, it was $100 in high school, $400 at the school, the driving school.
Mm-hmm.
I made him pay for it. I said, I'm not paying for it. You're going to earn the money and you're going to pay for it. I'm not paying.
Yeah, fair enough. Honestly, that's a good approach. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing when I have kids.
I ended up doing the same thing for my daughter.
Yeah, gotta learn responsibility and shit, you know.
Oh yeah. Fearsome. I never had anybody actually pass away in a car accident, but even when I was like 16, 17, I had an utter hatred for anyone who drove drunk. Like my brain was like, I can't even understand why somebody would think this is a good idea.
I agree with you that.
There's so many people who are like, oh yeah, I'm so good at driving drunk, I'd never get caught or anything. It's like, fuck you, you know?
Yeah.
It's not. Oh, look, dude. There's plenty of illegal things that are like funny when you do them, but that's not one because people kill people and people kill children when they drive drunk.
It is very rare that it's the drunk driver.
Yeah, so you just it's not funny and it's not cool. It's just
and I'm a very cautious driver because I know how easy it is to like get in a car accident.
Yeah.
Because me and my dad, we were stopped at in front of our house one day when I was 18, 19. And there's a very steep hill by our house, and some guy came up going like 80 miles an hour, and my dad saw him coming up. My dad hit the gas and just went forward, and the guy still hit us, but the EMTs when they got there said that if my dad had not started driving, that impact would have snapped both of our necks.
Oh.
Wow.
And so when somebody doesn't use when someone doesn't use their turn signal, that straight enrages me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just simple courtesy.
How in the fuck are you gonna merge into a busy ass highway, not use turn signal while everybody knows what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's such a major inconvenience to flip on your turn signal.
It's
like,
literally right beside your hand. You don't even have to move it. You just move your like middle finger and go up and down. It's just like, what the f wrong with you?
It's like,
That's letting the cops know where I'm going.
I'm gonna waste the rest of my. I'm gonna spend so much time and energy flipping this little switch on my car dashboard. Like it's such a major inconvenience for me.
I can't tell you how
I've
many
heard
times.
people say that.
I can't tell you the amount of times I've rolled down I got this, and they had their window down, and I just turned my music all the way down. And I looked at them, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Learn how to use your turn signal, you fucking idiot."
Yeah. Here's a pro tip. Okay. Get a microphone app, and if you got an aux cord, just open your microphone app, and you can blast your voice through the speakers to yell at them.
Yes, you can.
That's great.
Back in high school, and me and my friends would just be driving in both lanes on the highway, and we just have like our microphone apps open with our aux cords, and we just be fucking projecting on each other over the radio.
We used to do that with a CB.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a CB basically.
I just remember I was driving to work one day, and some guy, and there's a road where I have to drive by, where there's a stop sign, and this guy just straight, he doesn't do the, slow down and just drive through. No, he just straight blatantly runs that bitch. And I get beside him and I look at him. He's like, "You got a problem?" I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know how to fucking drive." And I was like, "You ran a stop sign." He's like, "Yeah, well, there's nobody coming." I was like, "I was coming. I almost hit you." And he got lippy, and I put my car in park, and I'm like, "You want to get out and handle this?" And he just drove the fuck off running a red light. I'm just like, "Well, you're already a shit driver. You might as well run a red light on top of everything else."
Yeah, that's going in at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had a lot of people who had their brights on the interstate, which is actually not something you're supposed to do.
I have my brights on all the time, but my car has this little handy feature because I use my automatic lights, where if there's any cars within a certain proximity, it shuts them off for me.
That's nice.
So they're not always on. They're only on when I actually.
That's nice. I rarely used my brights, and
the only reason I always have my brights on is because I drive back roads going home at night. they're my deer spotters.
Yeah, you need them as many times if you've been hit by a deer.
Well, no, I've only hit a deer once. I've hit a deer once. A deer's taken off one of my
yeah, the deer hit you.
Mirrors. Yeah, the deer hit me. But the amount of close calls I've had with deer are just more than the amount of years I've been alive.
All right, so we are on the Nevermore Collective. The Nevermore Collective was created to give YouTube creators in the horror community a place to do things that they don't normally do on their own channels, like the Traveler's Tavern. We also have Grave Matters, which is Filia and CCG. And we also have the Nevermore Horror. I can't remember what it is. I'm cheating. The Nevermore Horror House. And we have a couple of other series that are just starting. You might want to check them out. One is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay for those of you who want to watch.
Right now, he's actually building the Millennium Puzzle.
Ah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So
you get to see the bard's well-manicured nails.
Yeah. So we've got, if you want to join us, you can talk to Raven, who owns the domain. You can talk to PA42, me, Beautiful Nightmare, CCG, Lady Raven, Seraphine, Silver Threads, Filia Noctis, if you can catch Filia back on. Again, send Filia your love and positive healing vibes, because her and her family need it really bad.
Yeah. You mean Brad and Drainage, Raven. I had to correct that for you.
Oh my gosh.
I was in the Yu-Gi-Oh stream with Bard and Derringer, and my phone auto-corrected Derringer to Drainage and Bard to Brad. So now they are Brad and Drainage.
Okay.
Sorry. it was too good of an opportunity. It was too funny not to tell you guys.
If you have a video collection that doesn't quite fit your channel style, you can put that up here. So, you know, anything that doesn't fit, come on. We love having more people. But it's just, you know, it's a good place for us to all get together and just do different things. The Nevermore Collective. And once you've joined the collective, you can leave Nevermore.
Nevermore!
Oh, shit. Whoa,